Hello and welcome to the very first episode on the Onchain Series on digital asset show Popcentral channel 189. I am your one and only ribs of your ribs and your Eve that is here to save you, not give you the apple to eat, don't worry. My name is Purity Ogeneochiko, popularly known as Purity Chrome. And today on this first episode, we have a very special guest. This episode is going to be debunking a lot of myths about altcoins, about cryptocurrencies, and about the blockchain space in general. You're here to learn, you're here to get insight, and you're here, of course, to get the juiciest of the juiciest information about the space. So with me today, without wasting further time, is one person that I believe, being in the space myself, I have seen, made a lot of achievements over time. He's none other than the CEO and founder of Bchain Africa, Mr. Femi Adegolu. I hope I pronounced your name right.
You tried your best.
E for effort. Funny enough, my mom is Yoruba.
Nice.
But I don't really speak Ish. Okay, so Mr. Femi, I want to thank you first for taking your time to be here on the show.
Thank you very much.
My first question, right into it, my first question would be, on your journey, right, how did you actually start? Because I believe people that are watching, they are people that are interested about the space. They probably don't know how to start.
Yeah.
They don't know what it's really about. Most people still believe that anything that had to do with blockchain or cryptocurrencies is MMM, right? So from your story and your personal background, how did you break into the space? And then how did it lead into the building of Bchain?
Oh, thank you very much. My journey started 4 years ago in the summer of 2020 during the corona pandemic. Then I was living in Dubai, and in May, that was on the 5th of May, I stumbled on a post on the blog and talking about Bitcoin. I heard about Bitcoin like in 2017, 2018, but I really didn't get somebody to really put me through. So that was the first time I really got to join an Instagram live, and hear some people talk about Bitcoin and the future of Bitcoin and how it's really going to change our lives, give us freedom. Because the essence of crypto is, for me, my own definition is freedom, actually. Being able to help people do, transactions, with ease and, help people to just live a radically better life, And then that was actually my first interaction with crypto. That same week, I bought my first crypto, $100. And then, I lost the money, though, because I really did not know how it works. It's actually increased in price, and then it went back down. I actually bought some meme coins then, and then I lost it. I lost the money. That was my first investment. But it was actually a very good experience, because then I discovered, there was a tech behind the entire space, which actually powers everything. Just where you have the building, the gates actually, right? So there's this actually in here, but people do not see this part. And what people see on TV, they don't see the back end, they don't see the guys behind the camera. And these are the guys really pulling the strings, really making stuff go on, right?
True.
So I had to go deeper in 2021. Then I got my first Web3 job, and from there as a brand ambassador, and then from there when my contract expired, I actually had to see, what can I bring into the space? What can I really do to make a difference? What can I do to really make impact? Because I saw something really huge that a lot of people were not seeing. I saw the fact that a lot of Nigerians, Africans generally, are still yet to understand how it works, and the use cases in particular. Because the utilities in real life is what gives it value. What gives Bitcoin value is the fact that it has a real life use case.
Exactly.
What gives Ethereum value because it has a real life use case. And if there's anything has a real life use case, and it serves just 10% of the global population, it's really going to make a lot of impact. You understand?
Yeah.
So that was what I first of all found out. And then in 2023, I founded Bchain Africa, and that was last year. And that was because I wanted to close the gap between those who really understand how blockchain works and how they can also make a living out of it, how they can have freedom, financial freedom, and of course, how they can lead a sustainable career in this space. So I'm very sure the on-chain space is basically for everybody, whether you are a writer, you're a creator, you are a designer, you are a developer, you're a software engineer, you're a project manager, whatever you can do, you can bring that from the Web 2 space to Web 3. You can actually bring that into the on-chain economy and, really build something valuable for yourself. So that was one thing I saw, and there weren't a lot of, platforms where people could really be taught or people could really be learned.
Awesome.
Yeah, on this particular technology. Okay. And so that was how I was able to break into the space, and today, I'm a KOL.
Yes, sir. You know how it is. Thank you very much. That was actually a very deep story. You see how he actually started. I believe if you're watching this and you're someone who actually wants to break into the space, you can take one or two from his story. All right, moving on to the next question. It's what is your view? This topic for me is one that is really tough, and I think the next question will follow up with it because there is an issue on the regulatory framework in around cryptocurrencies and the blockchain space, especially in Africa, right? Nigeria, precisely, right? So, what is your view, right, on the regulatory framework on digital currencies, especially in Nigeria?
I think the government is still trying to understand how it works.
Yeah.
And for the private sector players, service providers, those who are offering, products, to the public, I think one thing I will say, because I was on a panel session with the Director General of the SEC, that's the Securities and Exchange Commission, and he mentioned something very critical. The government is trying to protect Nigerians from investing in something.
Yeah. Are they though?
That's what he said, according to what he said. They're trying to protect Nigerians from investing in crypto and get scammed. They want to make sure that the public understands it first, and the government is trying to understand how well to regulate the industry, because you cannot regulate what you don't understand, as simple as it is. And so, for us, I think we are getting to that stage. Before the past president left, we had a blockchain roadmap, right? That was a month before he was about leaving office. We had a blockchain roadmap, we had a blockchain committee, and then, but cryptocurrency itself is a product of blockchain. So you cannot have a blockchain roadmap without saying you want to accept cryptocurrency. And on that panel session I had with the DG of SEC, I mentioned that the CBN and the SEC committee, and those who are really regulating this particular digital assets, they are not really coming to terms.
Yeah.
They are not on the same table. CBN says the bank should not accept crypto transactions, right? SEC is already rolling out a playbook for crypto startups to giving them a license. Okay, license to do what?
They actually have even license a couple of them.
Yeah, a couple of them, which one of my friends also is also a founder, right? And then you're giving a license to a crypto startup to operate in Nigeria. How come the banks are still not being able to facilitate the transactions?
Fair.
So there is a discrepancy, there is a disconnect. You can't have the father and the mother. The father, which is SEC. SEC is in charge of anything digital assets in Nigeria, right? Now, CBN is also helping the banks because the banks are closer to the population, to the people. You understand? The banks actually give the services to the communities. So let's say somebody wants to buy Bitcoin through their bank. It should be done through your regular banking app. You understand? But right now, it can't be done because there's a restriction. So it's not that crypto is not legal, but there's a restriction that, okay, don't do it yet. If you do it, you're going to get a fine. So what we are right now, we are at a stage whereby I hope, because we've had a lot of deliberations with the policymakers, and I hope that there is a time frame, let's say from now to December or January, where Nigeria can say, okay, the banks should now be able to facilitate crypto transactions or verify. Because I think recently there's been a lot of cases regarding money laundering, a lot of cases regarding tax evasion and all that. So I think we're still getting there.
Awesome. Yeah. That's a lot to digest, and I hope you're taking it like little bits and little bits. For me, one of the takeaways was you can actually regulate what you don't understand, right? So I think from my point of view, the government as well, they really have to understand how this cryptocurrency functions. There's even the hence of why we have this show. So you know the technology in which these cryptocurrencies are built on. When you understand it, you can now set regulations that benefits all. That's just my take. So lastly, before we round up quickly, I would say following to, Shegu was on here, right, for the main DAS show, and he was talking to Obina, which I believe was the president of, or ex-president, should I say, of CBAN, right? And there was like a little bit of controversy on his managing or leadership skills, on how like he led CBN, and an issue on him registering maybe a different entity without involving the founding members. So what is your take on that? Your honest opinion. Here we dissect truths and truths alone. So your honest opinion.
Okay, my honest opinion, right?
Yes.
Okay. I spoke to Obina last week. We had a call, 44 minutes, I think, total. And I gave him my view on what the current situation is, because nobody's going to win. At the end of the day, the private sector, the CBN Association as a body, and the government with their regulators and the policymakers, I think they are looking up to us for us to put our house in order. And if Obina is having this crisis with CBN, it doesn't really make it look good for us, because now we're talking about regulation. But you know, in-house you need to be regulated too.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be organized. You know, I spoke to Obina. I told him, these are my views. We need to actually have a peaceful and cohesive ecosystem for us to really build. That collaborative spirit needs to be there. What is happening in CBN right now is a build-up of what has been going on, you know, power tussle and the likes. And I think that rather than focusing on just being presidents, we could look at a collective vision.
Yes.
What are we really looking out for?
Yeah.
You know, I think that the position of being a president does not really matter at this time. We should be talking about, look at, a lot of funding is going to East Africa. Millions of dollars have been invested in East African region, Rwanda, Kenya, and the likes. A lot of companies are shipping their money there, but we are missing out. And a lot of companies will not want to come to Nigeria because of the, you know, the current Binance issue and the likes.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be adding fuel to the fire that is already on. So I'm appealing to the CBN executives and everybody involved to really, really take this matter, peacefully, and let's really have an amicable solution to it.
All right, wonderful. Thank you very much, Mr. Femi, for being here on the show. I am really sorry, right? I mean, there are a lot to dissect. If it pains you that we don't have enough time, get us more airtime. So right now, we're still on the digital asset show, the Onchain Series. I have been your host, Purity Chrome, and we are rounding off. See you next Saturday, same time. Don't go away. Bye-bye.